in Germany.
All right, excuse me, everybody. If we can have your attention. So welcome to the IAGLR Conference Banquet and Award Ceremony. The tradition of IAGLR is to start this award ceremony by toasting to formerly the Queen and the President of the United States. We decided a few years ago that it might make sense instead to toast to the office of the Prime Minister, and this year it feels particularly appropriate to toast to the office of the President as well. So me as the President of the U.S. would like to raise your glass and offer a toast to the office of the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah, Justin.
All right, this is my first task as the new president, so please don't blame me for this, but let's toast to the office of the U.S. President.
Oh, well done. Bravo. A little shot there. I like that.
All right, so we're gonna start off today by thanking some of the people that have been involved with the conference this year. Then we're gonna hand out some awards and recognition. We'll take a little bit of a break then, and then we'll come back and award our career awards. So the first thing I want to do is so Mike Twist, the incoming IAGLR Vice President and hockey aficionado, sent me this slide to report on the results of the hockey game. Team IAGLR Canada apparently won 5-4. But the MVP was selected by Team USA Mike Searson. Interestingly, what I think is particularly exciting is that the hockey game raised a record $1,243.49 for Hector Scholarship. Next year there'll be another hockey game in Scarborough, Ontario. Contact Michael Twist if you're interested. All right, so let's reflect a little bit on this meeting. IAGLR 2017, as I mentioned in the business lunch, is a huge success. It's the largest IAGLR meeting that we've ever had. As of this afternoon, we were up to 1,048 attendees, and at least 300 of those attendees are students, so that's awesome. So I think there's been a number of great sessions, some great plenary talks as well. A couple of the ones that really stood out to me were the session yesterday to honor Jim and Bar Guyana, and the party last night that I went to, and is the reason that I felt like crap today, honoring Barb and Jim Guyana. And then the plenary talks, the plenary talk today by Cam Davis was great and really got us thinking about how we can be better at advocating for Great Lakes science. Paula Mcintyre is the communications director for IAGLR, and she wanted me to show this figure, which I have no idea what it means, but somehow a lot of people have been tweeting Scicomm and IAGLR 2017, and this is a breakdown apparently of who's leading the Twitter battle, even though I looked on the IAGLR 2017 Twitter feed and it looks like somebody else is actually in the lead. So according to this pie chart, Dr. Catfish is leading, but if you actually go to IAGLR 2017 or hashtag IAGLR 2017, Ralcade Rue is leading. So I guess this battle isn't quite over. Keep tweeting away, and then you can see who's in the lead tomorrow. I also again want to make sure that we thank all the sponsors and exhibitors that have contributed to the meeting this year. All right, so to start with, I want to thank the conference co-chairs and the program committee who helped put this meeting together. And I'd like to invite these folks up to the stage to have a picture with us. So the conference co-chairs, Jim Diana and Donna Cashian. And then the program committee, Mary Bowling, Donna Cashian, Carol Miller, Catherine Rising. Donna, you only get one plaque even though you were pulling double duty. Mary, Carol, and Catherine, can you come up too? All right. All right. People listed here. I know there's way more people on the boat that were involved as volunteers and contributed to the conference in some way. And so can I ask all the people that were involved in volunteering and putting together this meeting to stand up so we can give you a round of applause. So thanks, and we want to recognize one person in particular who did a ridiculous amount of work behind the scenes to put this meeting together. Elise Larson, could you come up, please? To help put this together. I also want to recognize some of the people from IAGLR that have been instrumental. Christine Mananen, could you stand up? So, for those of you who don't know, Mary Gittebob was a long-time conference coordinator for IAGLR, and last year was her last year coordinating IAGLR conferences. She's here, she's present, making sure everything's going okay. I think she approves. But this was the first year that Christine served as conference coordinator, and it just so happens she started on the largest and perhaps the most complicated IAGLR conference ever, and I think she did a great job, so thank you. And then also in the back corner here, she may be very difficult to see, is Wendy Foster, IAGLR business manager. As always, Wendy's done an awesome job putting together and contributing to this meeting and basically everything that IAGLR does. And again, IAGLR would not be around if it wasn't for these great people. The other person I want to recognize who's not here today is Paula Mcintyre, who's the communications director. So she's the one who makes sure that the IAGLR website, the registration for the conference, and all those things work. So let's thank Paula, even though she can't be here. Apparently we're being broadcast via Periscope, and I'm sure Paula's probably actually following along, so thanks, Paula. I also want to recognize outgoing IAGLR board members, and if these three people can come to the stage so we can recognize them. Laura Beecraft, student member from the University of Waterloo. Aaron Fisk, who was first a regular member, then the vice president, then the president, then the past president. And Christine Mayer, the treasurer. Sue Watts is another outgoing member who can't be here this year. And I guess I just want to say a little bit about these folks. Laura's done has done a lot of work as a student member. Laura's the person who's been responsible for all the student awards, all the judging for scholarships that we give out. Laura's coordinated that for a couple of years. Aaron, in his capacity as vice president, president, and past president, has kept the association moving forward for several years. And I don't think anybody realizes probably the busiest person on the board is our treasurer. And so Christine's been super busy with IAGLR financial dealings for the past 4 years. So let's thank them. Now is I'm going to go through and present the Student Conference Awards. These are the awards for the students' presentations and posters from last year. So we're still judging posters and presentations this year. We'll give out the awards from this year next year, but these are the students that won for Best Poster and Best Oral Presentation for 2016. When I call these people up, I'd like for them just to come forward, hold your applause. I'll bring all 4 of them up, and then we'll take a picture. But before I call these folks up, I also want to thank everybody that's been involved with the poster and oral presentation judging. So I want to thank all the judges that have participated this year and last year. And in particular, I want to thank Teresa Qualls. You want to stand up, Teresa? Who's the student judge coordinator. And I'll also thank Mary Ginenbach, who stepped in and helped with judging coordination this year, too. All right, so again, as I call your name, please come forward. First off, for the Best Student Poster Presentation Award. We're giving out 2 of these awards per year now, and one of them goes to Nicholas Jordan from the University of Wisconsin-Madison for Coastal Bluff Evolution Adjacent to Shoreline Protection Structures in Lake Michigan. The other Best Student Poster goes to Celeste Arambona from Montreal for Moisture Recycling over the Laurentian Great Lakes as simulated by CRC M5. You guys can applaud away in a second. Let me get to the other two awards as well. For 2016, the Best Student Oral Presentation Awards goes to Lisa Peterson from Michigan State, evaluating methods for estimating mortality of Great Lakes walleye using acoustic telemetry. And then second, Paul Plazotic from the University of Toronto for common part movement in response to acoustic and strobe light barriers in a mesocosm. All right, so now applaud away. So this year we also had a competition during the poster session where people that were viewing the posters could vote on their favorite posters in the category of graphic design, information impact, science communication, and people's choice. And so I'm not going to ask all these folks to come up to the stage, but what we set up for this year is that these 4 individuals are going to receive a prize that's worth somewhere between $0 to $200. And you get to come up after the award presentation's over and select the prize. So hold your horses, but come up here when we're done. And first come, first serve, right? Yep. Yeah, you have to wait. You have to wait. You can just figure it out when everybody else has a chance. Otherwise, you're getting to pick ahead of everybody else. All right. So next, I want to bring up the winners of the IAGLR student scholarships. And before I bring up these individuals, I want to thank some folks that are responsible for our IAGLR scholarships. So first off, I want to thank all of you that are IAGLR members, because your membership dues in part go to support IAGLR scholarships. So thank yourself. I want to thank all the donors that donated money specifically to scholarships. And some of these I'll mention the specific scholarships in a second. I want to thank the judges who participated in judging for the scholarship applicants. And in particular, I want to thank Laura Beecraft, who coordinated all the judging of student scholarships. So we have 7 student scholarships to give out, and so what I want to do is, again, I'll provide you their names, and I'll invite them up to the stage. Please hold your applause so I've gotten through all of them, and then you can applaud away. So first, I'd like to announce who's receiving this year's David Dolan Scholarship. This year we have 2 winners in recognition of David Dolan and his Memorial Scholarship. First off, Ashley Hendricks from Michigan Tech for a Bayesian approach for uncertainty analysis of a mercury biogeochemical model applied for inland upper peninsula lakes. And second, Brandon Garrick from the University of Notre Dame, swimming upstream, ecological implications of dam removal. In addition, we give out a scholarship entitled Norman Baldwin Fisheries Science Scholarship. This is a scholarship sponsored by the Great Lakes Fishery Commission. This year, we're giving out 2 of these scholarships, one to a master's student and one to a PhD student. First off, Catherine O'Reilly from the University of Notre Dame, quantifying the importance of Great Lakes coastal wetlands for supporting native fishes. And second, Jill Brooks from Carleton University, drivers of the spatial ecology of fish in a coastal embankment on the Laurentian Great Lakes. We also give out a scholarship called the IAGLR Scholarship, and we're also giving out 2 of these this year. First off, to Gretchen Lascord from Carleton University, factors affecting biotic and abiotic mercury concentrations across a large freshwater drainage basin on the Canadian Boreal Shield. And second, Brian O'Malley from the University of Vermont, evaluating theories about partial diel vertical migration. Last but not least, we also now give out a scholarship to allow international students outside of North America to travel to attend IAGLR. And this year, the recipient of the International Travel Scholarship is Nora Tugi from Biotechnological Institute in Budapest, Hungary. Phyto and bacterial plankton production in a shallow Central European Great Lake Ferto, Hungary. All right, so let's join me in congratulating all these student scholarship winners.
Way to represent the Scicomm.
All right, so you may note when the students are walking back, they're carrying a plaque, but they're also carrying an envelope, which Lars is handing them, that has a check in it. And they're, I think it's for how much grad students tend to make. It's a pretty significant part of their annual income that they're getting in the form of a scholarship right now. I would just want to point that out and encourage students in the audience, or students that are not in the audience, to think about applying for these IAGLR student scholarships in the future. All right, next I want to move on and hand out awards and recognition related to the Journal of Great Lakes Research. And before doing that, I just want to highlight a few people. First off, Jim Bentz. Jim Bentz is the chair of the Publications Committee for IAGLR, and it has been for several years. Bob Heckey, Stephanie Guilford, Noreen Dobies are the Journal of Great Lakes Research editors. Jim, Stephanie, Bob, and Noreen, can you stand up so we can recognize you guys real quick? So as we mentioned at the business lunch, the Journal of Great Lakes Research has really grown in readership, it's grown in reputation, and that's largely due to the work of these people. Another thing that we can do to help grow the journal in the future is really to promote the journal. And it's on us to promote the journal in a variety of ways. And Paula Mcintyre, our communications director, really wanted to highlight the work of Jenna Lee Gobin, a former IAGLR board member who's done a lot to promote the Journal of Great Lakes Research through social media. Is Jenna Lee around? She's not here. Okay, so we have a plaque for her, and we'll give that to Aaron, who will pass it on. Awesome, thanks. And then for the specific awards that we're giving out now, I want to thank the award judges that read papers and judged papers to define what were the most deserving papers for awards this year, and in particular Lars Rudstam. Lars is the awards committee co-chair with Laura Beecraft, but he in particular works on these awards for the journal. So thanks judges, and thanks Lars. Okay, so first off, I want to recognize the Editors Awards. We have 2 Editors Awards, and I'll ask these folks to come forward. Actually, I'm lying. I'm not going to do that first. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to recognize 3 Journal of Great Lakes Research Associate Editors. So as I mentioned during the business lunch, the journal is really dependent upon our associate editors, and sometimes some of them are allowed to apparently stop being associate editors. And in this case, we have 3 people that are stepping off the editorial board. Paul Helm from Ontario Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Gerald Batista from Case Western Reserve, and Ed Rutherford from IAGLR. Can the 3 of you please come forward? Or just Ed?
It's money, I'll disperse it.
Ed asked where the check was, but he doesn't get a check. So now I want to go on and recognize the Editors Awards. We give out 2 Editors Awards. First off, the Editors Awards for outstanding support to the Journal of Great Lakes Research goes to Robert Michael McKay from Bowling Green State University. You can come forward. And then second, the 2017 Elsevier Award for the best reviewer during 2016 goes to David Depew from Environment and Climate Change Canada. You can come forward as well. 3 awards for mention the first 2 papers. The first is the Elsevier Student Award. This is the most notable paper by a student author. Daniel Titze from the University of Minnesota Duluth was co-author Jay Austin. Novel direct observations of light on Lake Superior during the high ice coverage of winter 2013 and 2014. Daniel, if you can come forward. And secondly, we also give out an award for the most notable paper by an early career scientist. And for 2016, this award goes to Louise Cheverry from the University of Alberta. Co-authors Kimberly Howland, Paul Venturelli, Benjamin Kissinger, Ross Talman, and William Ton. Life history variation among 4 shallow water morphotypes of lake trout in the Great Bear Lake, Canada. Can you please come forward too? Okay, the final award that I'll give out now before I sit down and take a break is the most prestigious award that we give out for the journal, the Chandler Meisner Award, for the most notable paper during 2016 in the Journal of Great Lakes Research. And I think maybe for the first time this year the journal goes for work on a lake outside of the Laurentian Great Lakes. To Luan Esmesteva, Marianne Moore, Stephanie Hampton, Carolyn Ferwarda, Derek Gray, Kara Wu, Helena Pislegna, Ludmila Kraschuk, Svetlana Shmereva, Eugene Silal, lake-wide physical and biological trends associated with warming in Lake Baikal. And I think Derek Gray is going to come up and receive this award for all the other authors. Congratulations. I'll take a break now, and then I'll come back in a little bit, and we'll give out the Anderson Everett Award, the Jack Valentine Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award.